All right, welcome to another Bragging Rights hobby update for the week. This week was a little more productive than last, but still not quite as productive as I wanted. Unfortunately, we've been stricken by really high humidity in the Northeast. It's been in the 90s basically all week, and that's going to continue through the weekend. So I'm not going to be able to get any priming in. I'm really jealous of the folks right now who have airbrushes who can prime in any weather, but I am not so lucky. I'm using spray primers. So I went a little bit into the backlog of stuff I already had primed, and then I continued on work for the Penobscot expedition. So let me start with some stuff that I did that was just sitting around primed, and I thought, why not? I need to paint something. So I have here a group, a quilting group that I painted up. I bought these miniatures at an Adepticon, probably 2015, 14 maybe even. Honestly, the only memory I have of it is it was the year of the Boston Bomber, and my then girlfriend, now wife, was home alone a mile away from the last sighting of the suspects. So I didn't really have a great Adepticon, but I did purchase these models for $10. And they were already assembled, which is nice, and I've just now put some base coats on them. I'm going to still do some highlights, and I obviously need to lay down some foliage and some clumps. I've done it on one of these. I haven't done them on all of them, and I've given them little names. These are super quick. I put down a primer of Army Painter's plate mail color, and then I hit them with some contrast paints, and like I said, I need to do some highlights still and put some foliage down, but this is going to be a Grey Knights kill team. Happy enough, considering I put almost zero effort. I think it'll look great for almost zero effort. It's all about the tricks, really. You follow a couple tricks and you spend an hour on something like this, and you can get a pretty nice result. So now onto the stuff I'm actually excited about for this week. And you try to look at these models and not hear the soundtrack in your mind. But these are models for time period mostly of French and Indian War, but I'm going to be using them for my Penobscot Bay game that I have coming up. So I did two test models for I believe it's Colonel Morgan's Rifleman from Saratoga. I'm going to do a whole unit like this, and they're going to have different hunting shirts. The reason why they're different and not uniform is that Colonel Morgan assembled his guys on orders from Washington, I believe, and pulled them from all sorts of different regiments. So I don't expect them to have a uniform look. What is uniform is that they were all the quickest on their feet and best eyes, best shots. So I did two units to get ready for that. I did here a Peleg Wadsworth. Now I believe this is a Montcalm model from Plains of Abraham fame, Siege of Quebec, that sort of thing, French and Indian War. I painted him as a militia leader, and in this case, Peleg Wadsworth. I've got a particular attachment to him because Henry Wadsworth Longfellow is a descendant of his. It's kind of a Maine, the state of Maine connection, which I think is pretty cool. I also did here, this is a Captain Welsh. Captain Welsh was noted for his height and his intimidating size and presence as a leader of the Colonial Marines. So he's painted in the Colonial Marines color and facing of 1778. Previous to that, I believe it was white on green. This is the Jack Aubrey model. I believe this came free with black sails. It's out of scale. Like, I'll put it next to another guy. It's like, pretty considerably out of scale. But yeah, you see that? Considerably out of scale. But for a guy who is, famed for being 6'6", in a time where I think most people are about 5'8" to 5'10", it's somewhat fitting. Still out of scale, but at least stands out on the battlefield. And he's not going to be ranked up with a unit. He's going to be separated as a hero. So I think it's okay, and it is what it is. I wanted to paint the model for something. This Penobscot expedition has given me a reason. Okay, on to the stuff that, oh wait, a little more for Penobscot Expedition that's specific. These guys didn't serve in Penobscot Expedition, but I just really wanted to paint up the unit. This is some Vermont riflemen. You know, I call them Green Mountain Boys. I don't think Green Mountain Boys would all worn hunting shirts like this or green, but you know, that we like as gamers sometimes to have a really stereotypical view. And I associate green so heavily with Vermont at this time period that I just wanted everybody to be wearing green. Here they are. Am I gonna call one of these guys, you know, I want to say Ethan Hawke, but Ethan Allen? Probably not. But they will be serving as veteran Minutemen in the Penobscot Expedition. I'm pretty excited for this game I'm putting on. And by the way, I'll have more painted for that. That's going to show up in these videos in the next couple of weeks. And then when we actually hold the event, my club and I, I'll take some video that day and certainly a lot of pictures. Okay, so here's some of the stuff I'm kind of excited to have. I've wanted it for a long time. Here is Colonel Monroe. And here is Major Duncan Hayward. These are two characters from Last of the Mohicans. We have here, what is his name? Jack Winthrop. He's the leader, kind of the spokesperson of the militia forces. He's that guy you might remember that's always trying to make sure that the militia can go home and defend their homes and families. Now, this miniature itself is meant to represent good old Mel Gibson from The Patriot. This is sourced from Footsore Miniatures. They have a line, I think it's called Stronghold, that has some French and Indian War stuff. Picked it up from there. Colonel Monroe and Duncan Hayward are two models, as well as Montcalm, are two models from the French and Indian Wars British Characters Pack. I don't remember who this is supposed to be. Probably Wolfe. He is supposed to be George Washington from French and Indian War. You can kind of tell by looking at him. But I just thought they worked really well. Certainly he looks like Monroe from the movie, like dead on. And he's fine for Duncan, although Duncan would have had blonde hair, but I've got him in his wig status like he would have been early movie. Okay, a couple more from the movie. And I'm saying movie, maybe that's because I'm not cultured. Movie and the Leather Stocking Tales series. We've got here Magua, Huron, exiled Huron warrior. I've got him here not in his movie garb, but in a captured or more likely given as a gift British coat. I think a lot of times natives in British service were given coats and these, I forget what they're called, the little discs there of office. And then other times they capture them as kind of war prizes. But I put him proudly wearing his coat. And then he does have that face paint that's iconic that you would see in the movie. He's also got a nose ring there. There's another Magua model that's made by, excuse me, that's made by Warlord that I have painted that I don't really like that model too much. I just used him as a regular old native warrior. And then there's one that's made by, forget the company, but North Star sells them, that has the movie look nailed down a little better. I might source that eventually, but I don't know. I kind of like this guy. And here's Alice Monroe, tied up, wearing just her, I don't know if this is called a shift. I really don't know this era of dress, what it's called, but it's the dress you wear under your dress. Okay, let's clear that out. Let's get on to the ones that I like the best. We got here Cora Monroe, dark hair. She's got a pistol, which is nice. And we have Alice. It's too late for Alice. We all know what happens. And then we have Chingachgook, Last of the Mohicans. If you kind of look there, he's wearing, ooh, look at that. I love his war club, but he's wearing there what I think of as a puka shell necklace. So I think it's funny. We have Uncas, running, like that iconic scene near the end when he's running to his fate, right? But love this model. Really dynamic, tons of movement there. Both of them really have a lot of movement, especially him. He's like 70 years old. And then Nathaniel, Hawkeye, long rifle. He's got a French name too. I don't remember the French name. And then Natty Bumpo, which I never call him that. But I've got him, he's wearing his kind of tribal beadwork, and that extends to the back as well. And he's got, really, this is the DDL look. And I love these models. I think they're really well done. These models all come from that range I mentioned before, that Footsore sells, and I believe it's Stronghold. That is the company that they sell these on behalf of. They do come packaged with official Tomahawks and Muskets clamshells, and man, what a cool range. For the color choices, color palette in general, I added a little more life than what the movie depictions are, because the movie is really drab and realistic, and on the table I like a little more of a bright appearance. I did also, almost everybody has about the same skin tone. The 3 native folks, I did a mix of speed paint. No, not speed paint. I did a mix of Fire Slayer flesh. I think 3 parts to 1 part. The 1 part was the Blood Angels Red. So 1 drop Blood Angels Red, 3 drops of Fire Slayer flesh. And that kind of has that, just a little bit of that stereotypical red is kind of seeping in there. Not a lot. I hope it's not overstated, just a little bit. And then Nathaniel, I also put in a little more, I gave him a little more of a sun-bronzed look than certainly more than the Monroe sisters. Like, you look at skin tone between Nathaniel and Alice, it's quite stark difference. And it's actually same goes for Duncan too. I could have stand to give Duncan a sunburn, but this is early movie Duncan up here. I keep saying movie, of course, you know, it's great. What is it, James Fenimore Cooper book series. Okay, so obviously I'm passionate about these models, and I can't wait to use them. I'm forcing them into my Penobscot expedition game. They're going to be serving as a mix of civilians, officers, and native allies. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to put Nathaniel in with the native allies. But I just, man, I love the movies. Love that movie, I mean, and I absolutely love the miniatures. And it was really, really fun to finally paint these. They've been sitting around for so long. I'm just really glad I had the chance to do so. All right, well, that's all I have for this week, and stay tuned for more Muskets and Tomahawks painting I'm going to be doing over the next few weeks. I furiously get ready for the Penobscot expedition. All right, have a great week.